Okay, so here we start the framing. Nothing radical here. It's just 2x4 walls. Bottom plate is pressure treated. You might see a little darker brown there on the right side of the screen. I went to the old Canadian Tire, got a nailer on sale, drove in 3.5-inch spikes, no problem. Small air compressor, you can see behind me there, powered it, no problems. I've had that thing for about 10 years, works great. I did use galvanized nails on the bottom plate as well. And actually, whatever galvanized nails I use for the rest of the framing. Um, they are a bit more expensive, but for longevity, I think it's worth it. And then the bottom plate as well, I put a like that foamy kind of gasket. So I doubled up the safety, I guess, or the preservation of the bottom of the framing. So if water does get through, and water will find a way, uh, it'll won't rot out as fast. And you can see I don't have anchor bolts cemented into the pad. I did use a hammer drill to drive in holes for the bolts, I guess. And I epoxied them in there. And that way, when you lift up the wall, you're not going over anchor bolts. You're just standing up the wall, putting in the cut piece of bolt, uh, epoxying it in there. You give it, I don't know, I can't remember anymore, half hour to an hour, and you can tighten that down, no problems. The holes are in the bottom plate are a little bit bigger, so there's some room for me to line it up, but really it just worked great. Uh, and then just it's all galvanized hardware. Use the big washer, big nut, torqued it down, good to go. And yeah, there's the gasket there. Just stapled it on there. I used even galvanized staples for that. Here we are, my wife and I, God love her. We're putting up our first wall. I got an outrigger nailed on there to hold it up, for her to pull on it, keep it stable. We were pretty blessed during this build that the weather, for the most part, was really cooperative. It gets windy out there, as a lot of folks in southern Alberta know. And in this case, it was not windy. You can see the trees are just slightly moving. But I've done this before. My lovely wife has not, and between the two of us, our communication wasn't that great to start. And you'll see what happens in a few seconds here when you don't communicate too well. You can see the anchor bolts going in there. I have to kick it around a bit just to line it up. You can see the uh, cement pad there, and then my wall goes over by about 16 inches. Again, that's just a design thing. It's not anything structural. I nailed it in there right away, or part of the framing right away, so it's nice and solid. When I did put you'll see the later on as we go along how that design piece. Here we go with the wall. We both let go for some reason, thinking we're good to go. Uh, Bad idea. Nobody got hurt, which is good, and it fell the right way, which is also good. A couple of those anchor bolts actually bent. The concrete didn't move at all, and I had to replace them, but no big deal. Here we go. We anchor it down. A couple of stakes, a couple of screws. Screws are a good idea on your anchors because it's easier to take them out after instead of prying them out. And you can see the excellent safety shoes on my wife's feet. She's got her Crocs on. You can also see that we did not sheet these right away. Uh, and that's good if you sheet them right away for keeping the walls square. But I figure it's two of us, so it's easier to lift the wall that's not sheeted. And if it does get windy, it's less of a sail. So I just braced it up after and sheeted, and it worked out well. Everything's nice and plumb, square, and level. Here we go. I'm putting in the end wall there, and just so I have a corner done so I can tie them together and give it support as we go along with the rest of the build. I did sections. The garage is 20 by 30. I did 10-foot sections roughly. Easier to lift, easier to maneuver. I put in 2 anchor bolts per section, per 10-foot section. Again, nothing revolutionary here. Pretty simple framing. 16 inches on center. 2x4 wall, like I mentioned. What's funny though is, I don't know, funny, maybe frustrating, is that you figure all the studs, these are 8-foot walls, are all the same length. When I was at the local box store getting the lumber, I made sure I picked out nice straight pieces, but I never really took a tape measure to each and every stud to ensure that their length is the same. And they are not. Some were a 1/4 inch shorter for some reason. So you might want to check that. Up to you. In the big scheme of things, it's not a big deal. There's a double top plate. You can see it here tying in the 2 walls. Partially done on the top left of your screen. Here I framed up the 3rd wall on the north side of the garage. So I'll have a U-shaped part of the building done here. And if you are going to use this method of anchor bolts, highly recommend that once you drill them out, you get rid of that dust so that epoxy can get into all the cracks and pores and whatnot and really bond that in. Here's my son. He decided to let go of his computer for a few minutes and help the old man out. There you can see me coming over at 16 inches again. And by the way, the floor is not bolted down yet. I wanted to get all the walls up. Top plate's done. The anchor bolts are just placed into the holes just to make sure the bottom plate doesn't slide out. A little windier today. Actually, this is still the same day. Just finishing up the top plate here to tie those 2 together. I use a little framing square to make sure my cuts are nice and square. Maybe a little tip nobody learns, but I used to frame homes in Calgary for a living before the military, and I picked these up from the old carpenters and framers. You can see there where the 2 walls meet, top left corner there, how one is about a 1/4 inch short, one of the studs. So I have my bottom lines chalked out for where the wall goes. I just placed the wall. I had the pre-drilled bottom plate anchor holes in the bottom plate. Then I just take my hammer drill all the way through. I don't have to line anything up. It's already lined up for me. Blow out the dust. And that's it for day 1. We'll see you guys soon.